Heyo, everybody. OmniDog here. Hey, OmniDogs and OmniKittens. Thanks for tuning in. We have an interesting show today, I think. It's a viewer recommendation, and I will read this. It is from Vishal Fatak. I apologize if I mispronounced that. But he and or she writes, nice video like always. Thank you. Can you suggest some good books with single writer, single artist, and which are complete? I mean, so many people recommend Lazarus by Rucka or Low by Remender, but they are not completed yet. I want to read something like Fade Out or Descender. They both have single writer and artist. Also, the story has definitive end, which helps because I don't have to keep wondering about when the next book will come out, like Black Magic by Rucka. Okay, so we want single artist, single writer, and a complete story. I get it. So you want a story with a definitive end and something that you can follow and doesn't have a disruptive, jarring change of artist or writer in it. Okay, I got a bunch of stories for you, and I will just give a short synopsis of each book. Otherwise, this will be a 90-minute video. And we will start with Revival from Image. Tim Seeley, Mike Norton is the artist. This is set in Wisconsin and deals with the dead not staying dead. A sheriff has to deal with the fact that corpses just reanimate, and they're not just zombies. They seem to be living their old lives. And they're trying to figure out what's going on there. Great book. Four books in this hardcover series. I really love Revival. Excellent book. Next one is an omnibus. Planetary. Warren Ellis and John Cassidy is the artist. At the end, there's a bunch of one-shots that are written by Warren Ellis but have different artists, but the main story is by John Cassidy being the artist. And I will just read the back as a synopsis. Elijah Snow, Chiquita Wagner, and the drummer. Let's show some artwork here. Three people who walk the world in search of strangeness and wonder, uncovering things others wish were left uncovered. They are the mystery archaeologists, explorers of the planet's secret history, charting the unseen borders of a fantastic world. This is one of the best things ever written. Single writer, single artist, complete. Great book. I love this book. Okay, next we have a Vertigo book, DMZ, Brian Wood. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that one. Ricardo, last name. There are, I think, 5 of these. Yes. Now, I believe book 1's out of print, but you can get these online at Comixology or trade paperbacks. And you can get I think the trades, if these are out of print, you can get them online still. This is about when the second Civil War breaks out and New York City is caught right in the middle of it, and a photojournalist is named Maddie Roth is right in the very middle of it, and it is a rip-roaring, I think it was a very interesting take on what a second Civil War would do to the U.S. at this point in time, and especially what New York City would be like. That's DMZ. I liked it a lot, and it is complete with the same writer, same artist. That's the whole idea. I don't know why I keep saying that, but yeah, books 1 through 5, you will get the complete story. Next, the highly acclaimed, and some of these books are out of print too, but you can get the trades probably, and I don't think it has absolutes, or does it? No, I'm thinking of Preacher. Scalped, if you can probably find trades of it, or you can find it online. Scalped, I will read 15 years ago. Dash Bad Horse ran away from a life of abject poverty and despair on the Prairie Rose Indian Reservation. Now he's back, but this time he's got something to hide. Dash is an undercover FBI agent sent to investigate tribal leader Lincoln Red Crow. This is an incredible book with incredible art, great writing by Jason Aaron, art by R.M. Guerra. Highly, highly recommend Scalped. Never heard anybody say a bad word about it, and if they do, they're dumb, because this book rocks. Really amazing book. So you will be happy with this book, Vishal. Another one that has the same artist and writer, because it's the same guy, and that is Hillbilly, which if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you know I love this book. It's about a guy with a blade forged in hell that goes out and takes on the forces of evil witches. And it's got fabulous art by Eric Powell, fabulous writing. I love this book. It's crazy how much great art and writing is in this book. Eric Powell has magical powers of pen and writing. This is an Albatross book. It's his own imprint. Highly recommend Hillbilly. Books 1 through 3. Finish the story, and I highly recommend it. Once again, the idea is Vishal wanted complete story with no artistic changes, and boom, it's finished. You don't have to keep waiting forever. Like 7 to Eternity, you're going to have to wait an eternity for that book to get finished. And I get it. You're just going to have to wait a long time. So the idea is we want books that are done. You can get right into them and finish the read. The next one, Sweet Tooth by Jeff Lemire. He does the art and the writing. Books 1 through 3 of this. I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about this book either. This is an incredible book. 7 years ago, the affliction raged like a forest fire, killing billions. The only children born since are part of a new breed of animal-human hybrids. Gus is one of these children, a boy with a sweet soul, a sweeter tooth, and the features of a deer. So I love Sweet Tooth, and pretty much everybody does. I really think this is one of the great books of the past 10 years. I think it's the book that put Jeff Lemire on the map, and he has continued to knock it out of the park with just about every book he's written, except Plutona. Everything else has been a home run. Sorry, I didn't mean to slip that Plutona jab in there, except that I don't really care for Plutona. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Harrow County by Collin Bunn. Has the same artist throughout it, Tyler Crook. And I love this book. I gave it a glowing review last October of 2018. It has exceptional art. And it is a horror book that is extremely well written, extremely well drawn. And I can read the back of the book. Young Emmy always knew that the woods surrounding her home crawled with ghosts and monsters, the countless haints of Harrow County. But on the eve of her 18th birthday, she learns that she is connected to these creatures and to the land itself. There are 8 of these trade paperbacks, but it's also just come out in gigantic library editions from Dark Horse. You can either get the 8 trade paperbacks, digitally get it, or wait and collect them in those gigantic, beautiful library editions. I chose to stay with the trades. Take your pick. Take your pick. Those library editions are gorgeous, though. 5 volumes of Y the Last Man. Brian K. Vaughan. He's on this list a couple times. A virus kills all the men on the planet except for Yorick. And civilization comes to a halt. And Yorick and his monkey ampersand are on the run and on a search and have many, many adventures with all the women of the world. Some people say that it has not aged well. I am not one of those people. I am due for a reread of this book. Brian K. Vaughan, Pia Guerra is the artist. I happen to love this book. It is one that I'm never going to sell. This is a book that I will reread for many years to come. I think it's aged fine. I got no issues with it. Wonderful book, Y the Last Man. Don't know if it's got a TV series going on yet or not, but it's brilliant. I love Y the Last Man. Books 1 through 5. It's coming out in an omnibus, which is ridiculous because you can get it in trade paperback and deluxe edition and digitally and everywhere else you can find it. It doesn't need to come out. I've already made a video on it. Whatever. Another Brian K. Vaughan book. Ex Machina. This deals with a guy that has all of a sudden developed superpowers. He can talk to machines, and he decides that he could do better. He could do a better job helping people out if he becomes mayor of New York City. And this deals with his adventures doing that. Same writer, Brian K. Vaughan, and the art is by Tony Harris, all the way through 1 through 5. I love Tony K. Harris's art. You will too. This is a great book. I collected it in floppies, got it in these deluxe volumes, and this is also available as a big old fat omnibus. So, is this Vertigo? I have the Wildstorm version, but it's probably going to be a DC omnibus. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's an Omni. A big, huge Omni. The next one is available in absolute format. People love this book. I've heard no one say anything bad about this book either. It is in how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 deluxes. It's in trade paperback, also absolute format. Preacher by Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon. Fantastic art by Steve Dillon. This book could easily offend anyone. Jesse Custer is a preacher who I have to be careful what I even show because there's a lot of offensive material in this, a lot of religious offensive material in it. If you're easily offended, you don't want to read this book. I don't even know if this book could be published today or not. I don't care. It's remarkable. It's a classic comic book. One of Garth Ennis's greatest books. Preacher is amazing. I've never seen the TV show, but it is a great, great book as Jesse Custer goes out and he develops the ability to talk to God. Wait, he wants to talk to God, and he tries to track down God. And he develops these powers, and he eventually, well, I don't want to spoil the ending, but it has an ending. And he develops a particular set of powers, and it feels like early Steve Dillon art, but if you dig this book, you can get it in absolute format. And he I can't say enough about Preacher. This is one of Garth Ennis's greatest. Yeah, Jesse Custer has an issue with God, and he wants to talk to him. Okay, I believe this is getting made into a TV show, and I'm pretty sure it is a TV show. We just haven't seen it yet, I don't think. Lock and Key by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. Just having a hard time today pronouncing words. This is an amazing story, very subtle horror thriller masterpiece dealing with a family that moves back into their old family home that has many doors that have many keys, and the keys don't necessarily fit doors, but the keys can unlock certain other things too, and it is a remarkable book. It is, I think, one of those really subtly scary books. It is, it really gets under your skin, so to speak. It is a really, really good book with consistently brilliant art and consistently great writing. This is a brilliant series. Books 1 through 3 in this kind of deluxe format. You can get it in trade paperback. And I have it in this series, books 1 through 3. And there's been a couple of other books released too. But it is complete. And it is also brilliant. And this book, now I'm not trying to rub it in anybody's face, but this is the book that I pulled to show you. These are available in trade paperbacks or online digitally, but it's Yozagi Yojimbo Saga, and the writer and artist are the same guy, Stan Sakai, and it is the saga of a Ronin rabbit who is on his own. His master's been killed, so he is out for just a peaceful life, but he ends up running into all kinds of adventures and taking on many opponents, solving various issues in villages here and there. And does it really end? I guess it's still going on. Maybe I shouldn't have picked this because I don't know that it has an end yet. Gee, I guess I shouldn't have picked this. It's a great series. You should read it anyway, Vishal. Any way you can get your hands on it, get it in trade paperback form. I didn't really think about it ending. It's still being put out, so I guess it's kind of disqualified. Sorry about that, but you should read it. You really should read it. It's really great. This book is out of print, but still available on Rob Guillory's website, the Smorgasbord edition of Chew. If you don't want to get the absolute, it's readily available in trade paperback. This is a detective who has the ability to discover clues by figuring out the clues of what he eats. I forget what it's called, a cyberpath. And it's by John Layman and Rob Guillory. And I think I got this signed, didn't I? Yeah, I got this signed by John Layman at Awesome Con. He was a nice guy. Tony Chu. He's cyberpathic. Yeah, and so this is a really fun book. It has a definite end, and it's really great. If you decide to go for the Smorgasbord editions, You can still get Volume 1 on Rob Guillory's site. There's also the Omnivore editions and probably the trade paperbacks as well. Mockingbird. I pulled it because I love this book by Chelsea Cain with art by I'm not even going to try the last name, Kate Nemchik. Then I discovered, first of all, the writing's fantastic. Mockingbird's never been as interesting as when Chelsea Cain has written her. This, I think Mockingbird was one of my top books of whatever year it came out. It was just so much fun. Bobby Morse is so great in this. And I guess I'm kind of pushing it because there's a guest artist for issue 5 and it's only an 8-issue series. But I insist you people read it because it's so great. So I'm breaking my own rule. Mockingbird does have a guest artist for 1 issue, but please read it. Mockingbird is so fun. Chelsea Cain's a great writer, and Kate Nemchik is a great artist. Really fun book, Mockingbird. Definitely at an end because they cut it off at issue 8, which was sad. They didn't give it a chance. And here's one that I know broke the heart of fangirl Kristen because it just got announced that it's going to be ending. But boy, what a ride it's been. It's been a lot of fun reading Giant Days about friends who meet in college and the adventures they go through. This has never stopped being entertaining and fun. This is 3 girls who meet in college, and it is a joy to read. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about this either. And this has absolute universal appeal. They are, sometimes they're a hot mess. Sometimes they have their act together. They act like real people. And it's funny and fun and heartwarming and one of the best books out there, Giant Days. Sorry, Kristen. But all good things must come to an end. We're lucky we had Giant Days as long as we did. It's great. I think this is available. It's been collected into some hardcovers. I have it in trade paperback. Get it any way you want it. Great book. On the opposite side of Giant Days, Punisher Max, Jason Aaron and Steve Dillon. Now, this particular book is out of print now and hard to find, so you'll need to get it either in trade paperback format or on Comixology digitally. This is top-notch Steve Dillon artwork, though, and this is absolute top-notch Jason Aaron writing. This is the Punisher with a definitive ending in this book. This is Punisher like, I think this is one of the best Punisher books ever written. And I've read a lot of Punisher in my day. He's one of my favorite characters. It is astonishingly good. But I know this book's out of print and hard to find in omnibus form, so try to read it on Comixology if you can. It is just top-notch artwork by the late, great Steve Dillon. And Jason Aaron does a wonderful job writing Punisher like you wouldn't believe. It's explicit, violent as heck, super violent. And just be warned that, yeah, it's very violent. That's why it's called Punisher Max. And we're getting down to the last of the pile. Last couple of things. This book's a big one. The Goon by the great Eric Powell. How do I describe the Goon? The Goon is a zombie fighter I don't even know what the Goon is besides he's just the Goon. But Eric Powell wrote and drew this himself. There's a great cast of characters around the Goon. Eric Powell is a genius in my book. And he writes and draws. I mean, book 5, the writing and art is even better than book 1, so you can see his growth. It is just magnificent. It is absolutely one of my favorite books ever. The Goon. I bought it. Now, I think one of these volumes is hard to find now, these big Goon libraries. But I think probably if you go to albatrossbooks.com, you can probably get, or Dark Horse. I guess Dark Horse is what has the rights to it. I'm sure trade paperbacks can be readily available, or you can read it on Comixology. Has a definitive end, and the Goon is great. Love the Goon. Now, here are 2 books that have been highly acclaimed. There's a caveat, though. Highly acclaimed, 1 writer, 1 artist, definite end, but I haven't read them. So I'm going to show you them because people love these books, talk about them all the time, and I just haven't had a chance to read them. I'm going to read this one really soon and do a review on it because the ending just came out, and that's Nailbiter by Josh Williamson and art by Mr. Henderson. I know this book has gotten a wide amount of positive buzz. It's very violent, very graphic. It's about a place. 16 of the world's worst serial killers were all born and raised in the same small town. For years, people have tried to solve the mystery of why this town, and now the truth is finally revealed, but at what cost? So I'm going to be reading and reviewing that in the next couple of weeks, but I haven't read it yet, but everybody loves it. So I thought I'd throw it in there. And then here's a book that everybody loves this book, especially the uncanny Omar, my buddy. And I just haven't had a chance to read it. And I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to read it, but it'll be in this lifetime. And it can be hard to find, so you may need to read it on Comixology, or you may score and find it in your local comic book shop. And that is John Byrne's Fantastic Four. Omnibus, you may have to read it on Comixology, score it at your LCS, find it in a used bookstore. But apparently, this book is really cool, with some really cool concepts and containing a great team. You can see the team there is a little different than the team you're used to. I've heard nothing but great things about this book. I throw it in there because everybody raves about it, and old OmniDog just hasn't gotten around to it, but I wanted you to know about it because it's supposed to be so great. So, there you have it. 1 artist, 1 writer, completed story. I have no idea what the title of this video is going to be yet, but I'll figure it out between now and when it's posted. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And please leave a comment. I always answer comments, and I appreciate your support. Please subscribe, leave a comment, give me a thumbs up. And thanks for watching. Have a great day, night, evening, morning, whenever you're watching it. Peace and love. Peace and love.